Science helps us explore the universe, and psychology helps us understand behavior and emotion. But no matter how deeply we analyze, there remains a quiet space that hasn't been touched, a place not meant to be explained, but to be directly realized. Buddhism does not follow the path of explanation. Instead, it turns inward through mindful awareness, observing the mind itself in this very moment. Awakening in Buddhism does not come from knowledge or reasoning, but from directly observing the mind. And both modern science and psychology are gradually approaching depths that Buddhism pointed to long ago. Both psychology and Buddhism turn inward. They both study the inner life of human beings, but there is a key difference. Psychology analyzes and explains, while Buddhism observes directly without interference. Their goals are also different. Psychology aims to help people become more stable and mentally healthy. Buddhism goes further, aiming for liberation from suffering. Awareness allows us to stop identifying with emotions. Most people are still carried away by their thoughts and feelings, but with awareness, we begin to see them arise and pass away without clinging. The mind is constantly changing. The self is not fixed. Thoughts, emotions, and memories are always shifting. What we call the self is just an ongoing process, not a permanent entity. Consciousness can be seen as a continuous flow. Both psychology and Buddhism recognize this. Freedom lies in recognizing the flow without being swept away by it. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. This is the key shift. From identification to observation. Direct experience matters more than theory. Understanding something intellectually cannot replace experiencing it for yourself. That's why meditation is increasingly being integrated into modern psychological therapy. Healing comes from seeing clearly within, not only from medication or analysis, but from the ability to observe oneself. The Dharma acts like a mirror, reflecting the inner world. It does not judge or impose, it simply reveals what is. You don't need to understand why you suffer, but to see who is experiencing it. When there is no clinging, emotions naturally dissolve. The meeting point is direct experience. Psychology and Buddhism meet not in theory, but in lived experience. Psychology speaks of the subconscious and the unconscious. Buddhism speaks of karma and seeds within the mind. Both point to the same insight. What we experience today is shaped by impressions from the past. Human behavior is largely influenced by unconscious factors. To truly change, we have to turn inward and recognize the hidden forces within us, those operating in darkness and ignorance. Psychology seeks out what has been hidden or avoided. Buddhism, through awareness, reveals ignorance itself, the ways we fail to see clearly, along with the repeating cycles of craving, aversion, and delusion. The core of the practice is not analyzing the past, but clearly seeing what is happening right now in the present moment. Science and awareness move in different directions. Science analyzes, measures, and verifies the world of phenomena. Awareness in Buddhism directly observes and knows present experience. These are two different approaches. They do not negate each other. Awareness is not found in thought or knowledge. It is a direct knowing that doesn't require analysis or complex understanding. People often get confused when they try to understand awareness intellectually, when in fact, this capacity to know is already present and has never left us. Buddhism does not argue with science about right or wrong. Its goal is not to prove, but to guide us back to recognizing that which is aware. The mind has depth, a view that parallels Western psychology. The limitation of science is this. It can measure the physical world, but struggles to fully access subjective experience, awareness, suffering, or deep stillness. Buddhism should not be proven by science. Its value lies in direct experience, not in the laboratory, but in mindful observation within. Science can measure what is happening, but it has not yet touched what is aware. It can track heart rate, brain waves, and chemical changes during meditation. But one question remains. Who is it that is aware of all this? This is the natural limit of science. It operates within measurement, observation, and repeat. Subjective experiences, awareness, deep silence lie beyond that scope. Buddhism moves in the direction of direct experience. It does not deny science, but it is not confined by it. It emphasizes that some things can only be known through personal experience, not through analysis alone. 3 different approaches. Science asks, what is it? Philosophy asks, why? Buddhism asks, who is asking, gives. This reflects a deeply inward turn that is unique to Buddhism. It doesn't require belief, only direct seeing. Buddhism is not based on debate or blind faith. Its focus is on direct observation and personal realization. Truth reveals itself in inner stillness. When thinking settles and the mind is no longer restless, a state emerges that cannot be measured by instruments, only experienced. 2 paths, 2 different purposes. Science explains the world. Meditation, Buddhist practice, explores the arising and passing of experience within the mind. They are not in conflict, but they serve different goals. A question for each of us. Are you seeking logical understanding or inner peace? Do you want explanation or direct experience? Buddhism is a method of personal verification. It doesn't ask for belief. It offers tools. Meditation, mindfulness, observation. Each person verifies the truth through their own experience. Some things lie beyond language and measurement. They cannot be fully expressed in words or concepts. They can only be recognized in deep inner silence. Buddhism is not opposed to science. It simply points to another dimension of experience. Scientists like Albert Einstein, Erwin Scher, Dinger, and Werner Heisenberg were also drawn to these perspectives. Science can explain phenomena, but awareness can only be directly realized. These 2 paths are not in opposition. They complement different human needs. Are you truly willing to look within? Not through what you've learned or believed, but with an open, unbiased awareness. Because what we call understanding may sometimes be just a more subtle layer of illusion. If someone asks you, what is Buddhism? You might say it's a religion with temples, scriptures, and a community of practitioners. Or you might see it as a philosophical system, exploring impermanence, non-self, and the nature of being. Or perhaps as a kind of inner science encouraging observation and personal verification rather than blind belief. But no matter what you call it, those definitions only touch the surface. What matters most is not the label or the system of ideas, but each person's direct experience of their own mind. You can call Buddhism anything you like, as long as it helps you awaken. Awaken from what? From the illusions we once believed were real about the self, about ownership, about winning and losing, about the things we cling to such as status, ideals, or even knowledge. Sometimes, what we think we understand becomes the very obstacle that holds us back. There's a powerful metaphor. When you need to cross a river, you use a raft. But once you reach the other shore, you don't carry the raft with you. The teachings are the same. They are a means, not something to cling to. If you need belief to begin, then begin with belief. If you're skeptical, use your reason to question. If you love science, observe and practice for yourself. But there comes a point when all of that must be let go. There is no longer the idea of practicing, no longer the sense of seeking, only life unfolding in awareness. So, is Buddhism a religion? It can be if you need a structure to rely on. But if religion means worshiping a higher power that grants blessings, that doesn't fully capture the spirit of Buddhism. Here, it's not about believing, but about seeing. Not about asking for something, but about observing for yourself. No one grants you grace. There is only a path for you to walk. You could also see Buddhism as a philosophy because it explores perception and existence very deeply, with ideas like dependent origination and a broad view of reality. But philosophy often stops at thinking, while Buddhism goes further, beyond understanding itself. You might even call it a kind of science, if science is understood as observation and verification. But unlike science, Buddhism doesn't look outward to measure the physical world. It turns inward to recognize the process of awareness itself. It doesn't stop at events, but looks through phenomena to see their ever-changing nature and the absence of a fixed self. Eventually, all definitions fall away. When you no longer feel the need to name it, when you simply live, breathe, notice, and smile, perhaps that's when you begin to touch the essence of the path. It's not found in symbols, not contained in words, and not owned by any tradition. It's present in the stillness beneath movement, in the moment you see a thought arise and then pass away on its own. It's in the way you see another person suffering without the urge to compete or compare. It's in a simple gesture, a smile without reason, or a step no longer chasing anything. Buddhism is not something to search for. It is there before you even ask the question, and it remains after all beliefs fade away. It doesn't need proof or recognition. It only asks that you pause and see. This journey is not about accumulating more knowledge, but about gently removing the layers that have been covering the clarity already within you. Hopefully, you won't need to name it, and yet still live fully in that awareness. If you found this video helpful, don't miss the next one. It will help you understand even more deeply.